In this video, we're going to take a look at what the ellipse is. I like to think of an ellipse as kind of a smushed or stretched out circle. The equation for an ellipse also looks very similar to a circle. You have x minus h squared and the y minus k squared, but instead of all of that equaling your radius squared, x and y are going to have individual radiuses. So what we do is we put over a squared and over b squared. So I like to think of a as x's radius and b as the y's radius. Okay? If your a is bigger, your ellipse will be stretched or flattened, like a flattened circle. If your b is bigger than your a, your ellipse will be longer along the y, so it will be a stretched out circle, which is what an ellipse is. So let's look at how we would actually graph an ellipse. So let's graph x squared over 9 plus y squared over 36. So the very first thing you want to do is figure out what the center is. So there's no value on x and no value on y, so our center will just be at the origin, 0, 0. Okay, after we find the center, we're going to find x's radius. That is the square root of the value underneath the x group. So a squared is 9, so that means that a would be 3. The b value, so y's radius, would then be 6, because the square root of 36 is 6. And we go to graph that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we plot our center. It's at 0, 0. Then along the a direction, we have 3 right and 3 left. And then along the y direction, we go up 6 and down 6. And then we just plot our points and we have our ellipse. All right, let's graph 4x squared plus 25y squared equals 100. Now, this is not in the format we should have an ellipse in. On the right side, we should have just a 1. So in order to get this 100 a 1, we need to divide every piece of our equation by 100. So I go ahead and simplify that. 4 goes into 100 25 times. 25 goes into 100 4 times. And then the right side equals 1. So that is how I alter this equation if it does not equal a 1. Now we have our centers at 0, 0. X's radius, which we call a, is 5. And y's radius, which is b, is 2. So I'm going to go right 5, left 5, because that's my x's radius. And then we will go up 2 and down 2. And then we can graph our ellipse from there. And we have our ellipse. Let's take a look at an ellipse where the center is not necessarily the origin. So to graph this ellipse, we find the center. It's not at 0, 0. We have values on our x and a y, and we will find those exactly like we find the values on the circle. You have 3 and -1. It's the opposite of the inside. Then our a value, so x's radius, is 3, and y's radius, the b value, is 4. So if we plot that out, there's our center, 3, -1. And then along the x direction, we will go 3 both ways. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 left, 3 right. And then along the y, we will go 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just connect our points here. And we have our ellipse. Now you can go backwards if you have a graph of an ellipse. It's pretty simple. You just find the center. See how many go up and down, left and right. The left and right will be the x value, or the value underneath the x squared, and the up and down would be the value under the y. So there you have it. That is the equation of an ellipse and how you graph them.